Hi, everybody, and welcome to Pop Therapy, a podcast where we explore the intersection between psychology and pop culture. There's so much to unpack, so let's get started. Well, if it isn't another day, another week, another podcast episode with me, Omar, your friendly neighborhood therapist. This recording is happening during the holiday season. It's after Christmas, before New Year's. That still counts, right? That's still technically the holiday season? I feel like January 1 is officially, that marks the end of the holiday season. What I wanted to say now probably won't be relevant by the time this episode comes out. Well, it won't be as relevant, but I still think it'll be somewhat relevant. But that is, I just hope you all know that you can feel however you want to feel during the holiday season. I know this is a time to be joyous. At least that's what we're told, right? This is a time to be joyous. This is a time to celebrate, to be grateful. It's giving, it's a wonderful life vibes, to be happy for what you have, to practice a little humility. All of that is fantastic. All of that is wonderful, totally healthy. I encourage you to do that. I also want to make a little bit of room for folks that feel particularly sad during this time. If this time feels really heavy to you, that's also okay. I totally get it. A lot of people feel the exact same way that you do. I have friends, I have clients that for them, this time of year is more about just getting through it rather than celebrating anything really. It's more of a time for them to kind of just like hunker down, batten down the hatches, protect themselves, and just grin and bear it until January 1st. There's so much that comes up for people in terms of family. There's so much that comes up for people in terms of romantic relationships in general, as well as money. There's so much that comes up for so many people around money and financial stability, financial insecurity. This isn't a secret to anybody, but during this time, we're being told you're supposed to be buying a shit ton of gifts for a shit ton of people. And even if it's not for a shit ton of people, why am I cursing so much? Even if it's not for a ton of people, the gift that you give your partner, maybe it's just one gift that you're giving and it's to your partner. Oftentimes, there's this pressure for it to be extravagant, for it to be a really expensive piece of jewelry or really expensive piece of technology or clothing. And the pressure is on, folks, and I feel it, and I'm sure you feel it. And it's okay that you are not running around or walking around with a huge smile on your face saying, God bless us all, and, Merry Christmas, and everything is wonderful, and my family's great, and I'm so close to my family. If you don't feel that way, if that's not really what your holidays feel like, that's okay. And you know what? You don't necessarily have to do a ton to change it. If things with your family and or friends are kind of contentious right now, a little rough right now, it's all right. You don't have to force cheer if it's like not the right time. And I don't know when the right time will be. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if the answer for you, listener, is go and reconcile or go and repair that contentious relationship. I don't know, because I don't know what's going on. I don't know what happened to you. All I know is that if you're feeling the heaviness, it's for a good reason. I know you're not making it up. It's for a good reason that you're feeling the heaviness. If you're feeling a little sad or down, you have a good reason to feel that way. And if you are feeling shame or guilt because you can't buy everyone all the gifts you want to buy, maybe you can't buy your kids every single brand new toy that comes out. And I've talked to parents before. I've worked with parents before. There's so much shame around that, especially for folks that have kids in their lives. If you're a caregiver, there's so much shame and guilt that comes with not being able to get them everything that is on their Christmas list. And the fact that you care so much that you're sad about it, I think makes you a wonderful human being, a wonderful caregiver. a wonderful parent in the first place. Like if you were a terrible parent, you wouldn't feel sad that you couldn't get your kid everything on that Christmas list. So pat yourself on the back, your heart, it's in the right place. So yeah, if you're feeling the Christmas spirit and cheer, bravo, go off, go party, go celebrate. And if you're not, again, I think it's probably for good reason. And I don't want you to force yourself to feel anything other than what you are feeling right now. You're not alone. The holidays can be kind of a bummer. I get it. Luckily, it doesn't last forever. The holiday season eventually ends. And then who knows? Maybe you'll find yourself enjoying a nice little restart. So here's to the folks that feel the heaviness of the holiday. I'm thinking of you. With that being said, I'm thrilled to introduce our next guest. He is a queer business owner, entrepreneur. He has his own podcast called Farm Therapy, and he's also the star of the reality show June Farms, which is on Prime Video right now. Please welcome into your hearts, Matt Baumgartner.
Hi, Omar.
Hi, you look
so
great.
excited to be here.
I'm so excited to have you here. You were worried about
I look like I was. Oh my God, I don't look great. Thank you. I wish people could see how beautiful your hair looks. It's crazy that you don't have video.
You know what? We're just going to end the show right there. That's all you needed to do. I'm so happy to have you here. How you doing? How you feeling?
I'm feeling okay. I mean, is this like do I just have to be happy on this podcast, or can
Absolutely
I be like honest?
Not. Please, no. You can be. You can be as honest as you feel comfortable being.
Sure. I'm comfortable being honest. I'm probably operating at around a 4 out of 10 lately.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
I know. Doesn't feel good to say that, but it's the truth.
I feel ya. Is it just because there's so much on your plate right now, or is it because there's just like not enough time in the day? Or
no, it feels like. I'm not someone that loves the holidays. I don't
Fair enough.
feel good saying that. I have a really wonderful family who loves me very much. It has nothing to do with them. Yeah. I just think that like as a gay dude who's not in a relationship, who doesn't have kids, the holidays they stress me out. I feel very lonely during the holidays.
Of course.
It's never been a happy time for me. I don't know why. Yeah. Maybe when I was like a child, but as an adult, it's always been a time of the year that adds more stress to my life.
I hear you. I mean, as a therapist, I'm sure this will not surprise you at all. But as a therapist, this tends to be a pretty busy time for not necessarily like busy, but intense, an emotionally intense time for me. It's because of the things that you just talked about. It just brings up so many feelings around so many different themes. There's the themes that we're pretty familiar with around like family and love and relationships, and like everything around you is saying you should be with people, you should be with someone, celebrate with your family, celebrate with your lover, and all of that. And then it also brings up financial stressors because everything around this time is also buy. And so people feel like financially like really insecure if they can't buy all the gifts they want to buy for their loved ones, or they feel really guilty that they can't buy, their husband or wife or partner, like the diamond ring or the really awesome pair of leather boots they saw, you know what I mean? And it just brings up all those kinds of insecurities as well with a lot of my clients.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's especially true for small business owners. We are so slow right now, and like we have so many salaries to pay, and can I swear?
Of course. Please.
It's like fucking really stressing me out.
Yeah.
And it always happens around the holidays. And I don't know. It just feels like also with that TV show airing that I should be feeling like over the top excited and happy. And my brain is just conflicted. Like I'm obviously very happy that the show came out and I'm proud of it and whatever. But it feels like actual real life is not so great right now. And it's just bumming me out. Also, one of my very, very best friends, we were like drunk a few weeks ago and he slipped and hit his head and died. And that's
oh my gosh, man, I'm so sorry.
Very hard for me. So
yeah, of course. How are you navigating this? How are you taking care of yourself during this time?
I mean, not very well. I've been drinking a lot. not like home alone, but like forcing myself to go out and be social, which I do like. I mean, it is fun, but I also am someone who kind of drinks at one speed. Like I'll have one and it turns into like 40. So that's a little problematic.
Sure.
But I don't know. I'm just kind of waiting for this year to be over and have a fresh start after the new year.
Yeah. Yeah. How, I mean, in moments like this, what do you think? Because, I know you said being social can be helpful and that can be like good for you too. And when you're alone, what is it that you think you need in those moments when you're alone? Or like what goes through your mind in those moments when you're alone that are helpful?
I think it's like, I don't know if it's helpful. I find that I'm isolating myself intentionally. So, because I feel like my whole job, I guess, at the farm and my whole life feels, my dog is like trying to go out. My dog is like whining. Yeah, Bear's whining. I don't know if you can hear it, but anyway, my whole job in life feels so front facing towards guests that I don't feel like there's a lot of room to not be excited and happy with them.
Like on.
So of course, like always. Yeah. So if I don't feel that way genuinely, then I kind of hide because I don't want people to see, I don't want to seem fake.
Right.
And I also don't want to see people see me be not excited. So I kind of find myself just isolating. But then I find myself wanting to go out and have drinks with friends, and that always makes me feel better. But then I'm hungover the next day.
Right.
It's a whole thing.
Right. I mean, I find, so one of the things that I think that I wish more people would talk about were I don't even like calling them dark thoughts, but for lack of a better word, like the darker thoughts that we have. And it might be thoughts about like death and mortality or just like loneliness and isolation. And they're just like very, very deep and meaningful, but also very dark and sometimes painful thoughts. I wish we talked about how many of us had those thoughts more.
Oh, yeah, totally right. I agree.
Instead of only talking about, positive things or grateful things. And don't get me wrong, gratitude is love gratitude. I think it is so important every once in a while to just stop and take stock of everything and be grateful and show some gratitude and humility even. However, with that being said, I think it's just as important to acknowledge the darker thoughts that we have.
For sure. Well, today I was at the gym, which helps me a lot. That's the one thing that I know I can rely on to make me feel better.
Yeah.
I was in the gym and I was thinking I should do a reel or whatever, or maybe go back on farm. We're not filming farm therapy at the moment. Maybe I should just do like a little pop-up farm therapy podcast that's just me and talk about all the kind of struggles I'm going through. And I was almost getting like excited about doing it and like kind of getting it off my chest and being honest and thinking that people would relate to it.
Yeah.
And then my brain went immediately to people telling me that it's cringy or that it's like an overshare or that it's like for attention or whatever. But you know what I mean by that? It's like, I feel like it's almost hard to be authentic in those sad moments because people are like so quick to roll their eyes at you that you're just doing it for some sort of like or whatever. And it really, to me, it feels therapeutic to kind of like talk about that stuff. And when I see other people doing it and it's something that I relate to, I love it.
Yeah.
I find it so honest and so comforting to know that I'm not alone in those sort of situations. So that makes me want to do it more, but I don't know.
I would follow. So that feeling that you felt, Matt, when you thought about this idea and you sort of like, even in your body language, as you were talking about it,
my intuition.
Yeah. It like changed a little bit. You like perked up a little bit when you were talking about it. That is your inner compass. That's your Northern Star. Like, so you have to follow that thing that makes you like stand up a little bit straighter or sit up a little bit straighter, or like the thing that gives a spark in your eye that makes you think to yourself, oh, this feels like something worth exploring. Go explore that, especially now. Your intuition is telling you, hey, Matt, pay attention to this thing that's happening inside of us.
Thank you for saying that. I'm going to do it.
Go towards it. I think that's a fantastic idea. If it only helps you, just to get it off your chest, then success. You won. That's like that's all that you need. But please, keep in mind like the people that you trust in your life and the people that have your best interests in mind, and like share the dark thoughts with them. And this is coming from someone who struggles to do that. My own therapist has said that to me. My boyfriend has said that to me. Like, Omar, you keep too much to yourself. And our couples therapist called me out on this one time, where she's like, you're not talking a lot in these sessions. Like, what are you hiding? And it's just a lot of stuff that I'm keeping to myself. That similarly, I think like, oh, no one wants to hear this. This is complaining, blah, blah, blah.
Were you raised in a household where complaining was not really allowed? I mean, I definitely was. Like, we could have had the fucking, I don't even know what, like a crazy flu, and my mom would be like, get your ass in your clothes, you're going to school.
You're going to school.
Or any whining. It just was like not allowed. Like, we were not allowed to whine.
Yeah,
so it just feels like it feels gross to speak any sort of truth about how you're feeling in a negative way. Because to me, it comes across as whining.
For sure. There's a lot of people that I know and clients that I have that are like first generation American, like immigrant parents who feel very similar, who are not allowed to complain, who were conditioned to believe that complaining was a form of being ungrateful and spoiled, and shutting that off from themselves. But then what ends up happening, as I'm hearing you're experiencing, you cut yourself off from all of that, and then you're not even accessing the stuff that like needs to be expressed. Not because you're complaining, but because it's the reality. The reality is these are the thoughts you're having. These are the feelings that you're having. And denying them is painful, you know?
Yeah, and it like festers, and you need to get it out. Like, to me, it's like, shaking a soda can. It's like, I got to get it out somehow.
Yeah, and I think unconsciously or maybe consciously, drinking is our way of trying to access those feelings, right? Because it's like lowering the inhibitions, at least in our own minds. We're like, okay, it's like lowering the inhibitions, and it might help me either express them or turn the volume down a little bit on those thoughts. Yeah.
I have trouble. Can we skip right to drinking, my drinking problem?
Let's go for it. Yeah, I'm ready. Yeah.
My problem with drinking is that I love it.
Yeah.
It's not something that I don't like. I obviously don't like a hangover, but
sure.
I love going out drinking.
Yeah.
I love how it makes me feel. I love how it makes me connect with people. It feels like, sadly, it's my best self. I mean, people love me when I'm drinking. No one ever tells me I seem drunk. Like, I have a blast, and it gets me social. It makes I enjoy sex better when I'm drinking. It makes me more inhibited to have fun with sex. I drink a lot, probably three days a week, 4 days a week. I'll drink quite a bit, and then I'll go to the gym 3 or 4 days. But I don't know. It's like I get scared at the idea of. I know everyone says when they go sober, the whole another life opens up, and it's like rainbows and everything.
Sure.
I don't know if that would be that for me. I'm not a big joiner.
Right.
I don't have tons of friends that don't drink. I know that's the worry of a lot of people that when they get sober, and they're oftentimes proven wrong with their peers. But I don't know. I'm also in the bar business.
Yeah.
It just seems like to remove alcohol from my life would be such a shift in a way that scares the shit out of me.
Yeah.
But it does feel like I'm getting to the point that I have to change something or find a healthier way to deal with shit.
Basically improve and or repair your relationship to drinking in a way that's more sustainable.
Yeah, but I don't think that's possible. I mean, if I were to crack open a Truly or something right now, it cut to, what time is it? 10 o'clock, I'd be hammered. And I'd be down the street at my friend's bar having a blast.
Yeah. I
mean, it would be a super. I mean, I would love to do that. Trust me, right now, I would love to go do that.
Right.
But I have to DJ tomorrow night. It's just there's things that I am at least good about not fucking up things that I have the following day and not drinking before
commitments that you have.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, this idea that drinking brings out your best self is, tale as old as time. I hear that so often. My response to that is usually some version of, and maybe you've heard this before, but my response to that is usually some version of drinking doesn't bring out anything in you that isn't already there. right? It's already something that exists within you, and for whatever reason, maybe it's the chemical interactions with the alcohol, or maybe it's what drinking means and symbolizes to you, but it feels like this version of you comes out that wasn't there. And I'm just sort of here to remind you that part is there, maybe dormant, right? Or maybe afraid to come out without alcohol. But I mean, I haven't spent a ton of time with you, but the very little time that I have spent with you was lovely, was absolutely lovely. And we weren't necessarily drinking at the time. You know what I mean? Like when you took me with like on the ATVs, which is like the straightest thing I've ever done in my life. And I had so much fun doing it. Was the first time doing that. And I had so much fun. And the folks that I was with, like Kyle, Wilfredo and stuff, like we still talk about that time, and we still talk about that trip, and like those memories and how I felt around you wasn't related to alcohol. It wasn't because we were getting hammered doing all of that. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it was because, I don't know, it was because you were being so nurturing and so warm and so like passionate about the farm, and it felt really, really meaningful for what it's worth, right? Like I think
thank you for saying that.
There's a lot that you bring to the table outside of drinking.
Thank you.
And that's the stages of change usually follow this trajectory that you're talking about, which is like this moment in your life where you're thinking to yourself, okay, something has to change. Like my life isn't necessarily in ruins, but something about this doesn't sit right with me, or I'm starting to feel like super uncomfortable about this. And this is, totally unsolicited. Obviously, I'm not your therapist. My advice to you is to keep talking about that discomfort with people that you trust. Not everybody. It doesn't have to be everybody, but like one or two or three people that you trust, that like will listen to you and again have your best interest at heart. If you could talk to them about like, hey, here's this thing has been weighing on me. It's like I can't shake this feeling that maybe I need to either stop drinking or drastically reduce my drinking, but I don't really know how to do that. It seems impossible. I think the more that you talk about that space that you're in, this like liminal, like you're like 1 foot in the drinking door, 1 foot in the not drinking door.
Yeah.
This like purgatory almost. I think the more that you talk about that, the easier it'll be for you to make a decision one way or the other.
Okay.
For what it's worth.
I mean, I do say things to my buddies, but they're always like, you're fine. Shut up. I mean, it's like, because it doesn't seem like a problem to anybody. I don't know if it's a problem. It feels like it might be.
And I would, again, I would continue talking about that. And maybe, with the good friends that you have, maybe a prompt like, hey, I want to share something. I don't need advice. I don't need you to tell me if I'm good or not good. The point of this is just like, it's on my mind. I need to get this out. So give it a shot, try it out. And of course, also like, if you need therapist referrals, recommendations, I'd be more than happy to give you people that like I adore, that I think are fantastic clinicians. So I'm always here for that.
Thank you.
So I know, you mentioned it earlier, running a business, you are DJing, you have a bar. How did, like, I know you talked a little bit in one of the articles that you did, how playing poker kind of led you to being this serial entrepreneur. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. So when I graduated from college, I worked for General Electric in their finance department. Yeah. It almost makes me fall asleep even saying that sentence. It was so boring. I hated it. It was like in a cubicle. It was doing work that brought me zero joy. I just couldn't believe that this was what I was doing in my life.
Yeah.
But I mean, I didn't really know what I was going to do after college. I majored in economics. It seemed like a logical next step or whatever. And then GE transferred me down to Wilmington, North Carolina. I ended up going back up to New York to go to Turning Stone Casino for my cousin Rocco's bachelor party. And at that casino, I won I think it was like 25 grand, 30 grand in a game
Wow.
called Let It Ride. It's a poker hand.
Okay.
And they dealt me a royal flush, like ace, king, queen, jack, 10 of spades.
Whoa.
And that was a ton of money to me at the time. I mean, not that it's not a lot of money to me now, but I mean, at the
Yeah.
time it
But
was like,
especially,
mine as
yeah.
well been $1 million.
Right.
So I had, 30 grand in the bank. And then I decided to quit my job in North Carolina and then move back to Albany and open up a little burrito takeout restaurant with the money with my friend Lynn, who I went to college with.
Okay.
And then we started a place called Bomber's Burrito Bar. And that was like my very first restaurant. And then it kind of taught me the ropes. And then I opened up a bar above it and then opened up other bombers and opened up beer gardens and
Okay.
nightclubs and old English pubs and a pizza place and blah, 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 blah.
Wow.
And then, I mean, I've had like 15 bars and restaurants in my career. And then now I just have the farm. So after COVID, I started selling off some bars and restaurants to pay for the farm.
Okay.
And now all of them are kind of gone or sold or gone.
Right.
And now I just have June Farms.
Now it's just June Farms. What led to June Farms? Was this something that was always on your vision board, like owning a farm or having a farm?
Not really. I mean, I always loved farms. I mean, I grew up not super rural, but I did have a four-wheeler and we'd like ride it all around the woods and stuff. And my grandmother lived next to a dairy farm. So anytime we'd go to her house, I'd be playing in the barn and like even just the smell of the cows in the barn and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I like loved it. So I always kind of fantasized about living on a farm, but I didn't have land and it didn't seem like an option. I was in New York City at the time. I had a clothing line that wasn't doing very well, going back and forth from my restaurants in Albany to New York City.
Wow.
And then there was just one day where I was like, this is not sustainable. I'm getting like hammered every night in New York City on a train, hungover all the time. And I really missed sort of being outside and like being in the woods.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided to get rid of my place in New York City and then bought some land to live on. And I was going to build a house.
Okay.
And that was the plan. And then I got beef. I got cows and pigs, and I was going to raise beef and pork for restaurants that I had. And then we raised them for a year, and the harvest season came up, and it bummed me out. It was
to have to kill
them. I mean, we actually brought like the butcher to the farm, and they like shot them in the head. It was like in beautiful white snow. It was like the most like just surreal, tragic, jarring, sad. It just was not, it wasn't for me. Yeah. Not that I'm like a vegetarian, but I got really connected and like I felt really close to those animals. So I didn't want to do that anymore. But now I had all these animals and I thought, let's just see if people want to come visit the farm. We'll charge an admission. I'll put a pop-up tent and serve pizza and beer out of it. And for the first year we did that. It was pretty busy. Yeah. And then we just started growing and adding cabins and adding more animals. And now it's an agritourism farm where you come to see a farm that raises animals. We don't kill them, but you can stay over and see how we take care of them and buy food and drinks.
That is so lovely. I love that part of the story involved you being so connected to the animals that it grew into this other kind of business, which I think is, it speaks to your intuition, your own inner compass. Yeah. The more that you follow it, the better off you are typically.
Well, anytime someone says, where do you see yourself in 5 years? I hate that question because I've never known where my life is going to be 5 years from now. Yeah. It always goes in the most random pattern. So I'm along for the ride. Yeah. Yeah. And I usually head in the right direction and there's always, failures along the way, but I like the direction my life goes in. It's always something exciting.
I think it speaks to your flexibility and adaptability that also speaks to your entrepreneurial spirit. I feel like you have to be very able and quick to adapt to whatever life throws at you. And this and being rigid to a 5-year plan, while I understand the appeal, don't get me wrong, I can also understand why someone in your position would be like, I really can't be too strict about that because I don't know what's going to happen and I have to be flexible about that. Yeah. That is so cool. So you develop this farm, you build cabins and stuff on it and essentially areas for people to stay and sleep. It's kind of hotel slash agricultural moment, which is really beautiful.
Yep.
So you're doing that. I'm assuming that in the back of your mind, you weren't necessarily thinking this could make for great television. Maybe jokingly, the way most gay men are like, oh, my life should be a reality show. But like, right. I wonder, were you thinking somewhere in the back of your mind kind of seriously that, oh, I think there might be something here for television? Or was that another total surprise for you?
So when I had a clothing line in New York City, my friend Adam said, hey, there's this guy, Omid, who is doing a TV show about new designers.
Okay.
Do you want to meet with him and see if you'd be a good fit for the show? I said, sure. So we went to Cornelia Street Cafe and had a drink, and I met him, and we had a great conversation. And at the end of our sort of hangout, he said, I'm going to suggest to you that you don't do this TV show. It's going to be kind of sloppy. You seem like a good guy. It's probably going to be bad for your business. Like, I would pass on it. And I was like, I appreciate that advice. I will.
Yeah.
But he and I stayed good friends. And at the time, he would come visit me upstate, and I had all these restaurants, and he would be like, your life is crazy up here. And I'm like, it's nuts. And he said, let me see if I can try to pitch a TV show about you. Would you be okay with that? I said, sure. He tried for a few years and nothing happened. And I was like, okay, he gave it a shot. And then he had a friend, John Gould, who is a show developer, and he has his own company in Los Angeles. And he said, my friend John does this for a living. He sells shows. Can I come out to the farm with him and introduce you to him? And I was like, sure. So in like 2023, basically, John and Omid came out to the farm, and he was like, the farm's beautiful. The animals are beautiful. The staff is fun. You seem fun. Can we try to pitch a show? I said, sure. And then he did. And then HBO bought it. They were supposed to film one day in May, and then they got sold to Discovery. Then they canceled it. And we were like, oh, bummer.
Oh, wow.
But then he ended up selling it to Amazon. Then Amazon bought it.
And here we are.
And here we are.
That's so cool. What do you think the interest in your life, in your business reflects about the audience? Like, why? What is it about what you do that you think speaks to us as the viewers?
That's a good question. Well, I would say that I think the show is appealing to a lot of people because there's cute animals. I mean, who doesn't want to see
Who doesn't
cute
love
animals?
cute animals? 100%.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of cute animals on there. Yeah.
There are, yeah. And there's a lot of romance. Each episode has a wedding.
So true.
That, we deliver a wedding, and it's you kind of get to know the couples a little bit, but not so much that it's like a full-blown wedding show, which I personally don't love wedding shows, but this is just like seeing the venue's perspective on putting weddings together. So you see a lot of the sort of back of the house stuff, which I find very fascinating.
Right.
And then there's just some a little sprinkle of like reality show drama. So I think it checks a lot of boxes of what people like to watch on television. All in one show.
The Farm is quite romantic. I never thought of it that way, but hearing you say it made me go like, oh yeah, duh. It feels, the word that comes to mind, Matt, when I was there was, it feels whimsical. It feels like you're kind of a little like
that's a great word.
Little Narnia vibes. Yeah. Like, oh, I stepped into a portal, and now here I am, and and I never want to leave. And it's like so picturesque. Does it feel similarly to you?
No, it does. I mean, that whimsical is the word that I describe to the farm manager and to people that were building things as how I want the farm to feel. Mainly because I wanted to, as you're walking, sort of whatever the word is, as you're meandering through the farm path, I wanted it to feel like every turn is something new that you sort of stumble upon. Yeah. And especially that I wanted it to feel like it feels like an old farm and not some new modern whatever. I wanted it to look like a farm that could have been around for 100 years. Yeah. So I think people have a switch in the back of their head that kind of flips up when they're walking around, and it brings them back to this like childhood memory of reading farm children's books and seeing, pigs and goats and ducks and cows and horses. You see all of them, right? Not just like one farm that has 200 cows or whatever.
Right. I think you also touched on something else, the inner child, the inner like adventurer. Like I remember going into a woodsy area of a park and just like feeling as if I was on an adventure, hoping to discover something. And I do think your farm does that really well, where you could just walk around without a
Yeah.
plan and just stumble upon really just like gorgeous moments of nature or just like really beautiful
Yeah.
pieces of architecture. And it is very similar to like being a kid in the woods and discovering like, oh my God, like look at this magical place. And I think you've touched on that really, really well. Like the inner
Yeah. Thank you.
child of it all, the playfulness of it all.
Yeah. And something else that I think is nice about the animals, and I mean, no one is more addicted to their phone than me. You can't be on your phone when there's, a 15-foot horse 3 feet from your 3 inches
Right.
from your face,
Yeah.
or huge cows with huge horns, or goats climbing on you, or like 700-pound pigs that are like right in front of you wanting to be
Right.
scratched. It's just nothing is as important on your phone as these big animals are right in front of you.
Yeah.
And it just naturally takes you out of that sort of addiction, or that, that sort of pattern that we're all in, like scrolling on our phones.
Hmm.
And I think whether you are aware that that's happening or not, you just feel better in real nature. And
Oh,
I think
yeah.
that's something we all are missing, in our
Desperately.
lives. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think your farm does a really good job of nudging us to be more present. Right. And it's sort of, I don't want to say forces us. That feels more dramatic than what I mean, but it encourages us to put the phone away because there's so much going on, whether it's something beautiful or something you haven't seen before, or there's a massive horse in front of you and you're just like, holy shit, I need to pay
Yeah.
attention to
Yeah.
what's going on. And so you're connected to the present moment while at the same time being connected to nature. It's just this like perfect recipe for presence and being present.
Yeah. And people seem happy. I mean, that's one of the things that I appreciate most about that farm is you can see a shift in people who might show up a little bit cranky, and their change in their
Yeah.
personality when they
Yeah.
get back from like going around the farm. It's nice. It affects people in a positive way.
Yeah, and it's such a cliche trope, but I think there's some truth to it. Where you get the big city exec, you know what I mean, who's like on the phone, no business, and then they spend a few days on the farm, and they're like, oh, I forgot my phone. I'm like, I'm in a flannel shirt now. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that transformation, I can see that happening on your property. And again, and you see it in like every Hallmark movie, but again, there's some truth to that.
There definitely is. I'm seeing it in real life.
And it might be impossible for you to choose just one spot, but I would love to hear like, what is your favorite or like top 2, top 3 favorite spots on the farm that you love to spend time on, or that you would recommend? Like, if you are here, do not miss out on blank.
Oh, that's a good question. Let me think about this.
Yeah, please.
I mean, well, the bridge connects the front of the farm and the back of the farm.
Mm-hmm.
That is, to me, the prettiest part of the farm.
Okay.
Because you can see like the hillside. It's just, there's a lot of view when you're standing on the bridge. Yeah. There's also a stream, and there's just like, I think aesthetically, it's the most sort of idyllic spot on the farm that I think is really beautiful. I would say in the woods, it's really nice. Like where the Hobbit house is, it's just very calm, and the trees are huge, and it just sort of feels really good energy, I guess is the word. And just nature is such good energy. And it just, I don't know. It's, I find it very magical in those woods for some reason.
I think I was there when you were still building it, or maybe it was just, it was, I forget if it was like you were just about to finish it or you just finished it or something like that. But you heard him correctly, folks. There is a Hobbit house. It is so beautiful. And the area that you speak of, yes, the trees are massive. It's just, again, this feeling of, I am in another world. I stepped through a portal. Like I'm in Narnia. It gives that vibe for sure.
Let me ask you a question.
Please.
Have you ever hugged a tree?
Oh my, you know what? I don't think so. No.
You have to.
Okay.
It is no joke. You will feel something from it. And I'm not like a hippy dippy spiritual person, but like trees have energy. And when you hug a tree, there is an exchange of something, and you feel it.
Right.
And you feel like you're hugging something bigger than you that's grounded. And it really is a good energy exchange. And you have to do it.
Oh, how symbolic. Okay, that's on my bucket list. 100%. I'm coming up there soon, and I'm
I
hugging
mean,
one
it
of the
doesn't have to be a
trees.
June Farms tree, but it can be
No,
literally
June
any
farm
tree.
tree or bust. But yes, I will try. I will look at other trees fine, but for sure. Oh, that is such a good idea. Wow. That's one of those it's one of those ideas that when you plant in my head, I will not be able to stop thinking about it until I do it. So I'm gonna report back to you once I actually
Yeah,
hug a
I
tree.
really genuinely would like to know how you feel after
You're
you do
my
it.
accountability partner for
Okay,
that.
sweet.
So one of the things that you mentioned, which again remains so true about the farm, is how idyllic it is, how romantic it is. So I guess it sort of makes sense that it also became this really well-known, popular wedding venue. Was that always a part of the vision board, or did that also sort of just like develop over time because it's just so beautiful there?
So I don't do vision boards. That's vision boards and 5-year plans are part of
Got
the
it.
same brain for me that
Yep.
I don't do.
Yep.
I don't, whatever. We already talked about that, but we do need money.
Yeah.
So like money is something that's an ongoing
Amen.
5-year plan, 10-year
Yes.
plan. Like that is the one constant that I
Yes.
do need. And we sort of quickly realized how expensive building a farm is.
Mm-hmm.
And people just kept saying, you should do weddings. You should do weddings. I'm actually not a huge wedding person. Like, I feel bad saying that, but like,
Yeah.
anytime I get invited to a wedding, I'm like, oh my God. So
Is it because, what is it about weddings in particular that you're like, I don't really want to?
I don't know. Maybe I'm just like a skeptic when it comes to like love and stuff. And it just feels so, I don't know. I
Forced?
just get bored. A little forced. I mean, also all those people and just like having to give all that money. It just feels like a money grab.
Yeah.
And it's also not like a winning bet. It's like what, 60% end in divorce. It's like, why would you do that?
Matt, we'll unpack
but if you
that
are
later.
going to do it at June Farms. Here I'm like shooting my own business.
Oh, that is so. I know. I appreciate your honesty. And that is true. There is a large divorce rate. That is true. But I could also see why folks would want to have a wedding again,
of course.
especially on your farm, because it's just like so. So okay. So it develops because people were suggesting it, and you're like, oh,
yeah,
I can help run the business this way. I can help sustain the farm this way. Gotcha.
Yes, but weirdly, do you know the Manscapers? In New York City, James Garrett and Mel. So they've been friends of mine for a long time. And when they had their TV show Backyard Envy on Bravo,
yes,
they reached out to me and said, hey, we need episodes. Is there anything that like is going on at the farm that we might be able to help with? And I said, actually, we have our first wedding coming up in May. And they were like, oh my God, perfect. So they helped us build like the grand arbor where the ceremony or where the wedding where the couple got married, and help with a lot of the floral. So they also obviously aired the episode on Bravo. So that got a lot of eyes on our venue for weddings.
Gotcha.
So after that show aired, we got a lot of people reaching out. It kind of launched us into a wedding venue space in a great way that I'm very, very grateful.
It's so interesting. Yep. It must be interesting for you to bear witness to this like really intense, meaningful, symbolic ritual around love and coupledom, for you to be a part of not only the planning and the logistical part of it, which is super important, but also a part of like this story of
for them.
Totally.
Them. Well, there are very different personalities, obviously, in couples. And some people are just lost in the romance of it. And those are my favorite couples that are sort of almost so laid back. They're just so happy to be marrying the love of their life. And they just want their friends and family there. And they're just low key romantic people. And they're like the best people. Mm-hmm. Then there's the other side that are so consumed with each detail that they don't even get to really enjoy the day because they're so stressed about their pictures and like, and everything being perfect that I don't know. It's a misfocus. I feel like they should just go with the flow.
Yeah.
But it has been interesting seeing all the different couples over the years. But
especially the queer couples. I mean, as a queer business owner, I would imagine there's something kind of special about that you get to sort of like shepherd this queer couple into this ritual that you might have mixed feelings about, but that is like ultimately a big deal for them.
Yeah. My favorite question is when I'm either on the phone with somebody or meeting them and they say, we are queer. Is that okay? We just want to let you know we're queer, we're gay, we're lesbians, whatever. Is that okay if we get married there? And I'm always like, oh, how sad do you have to feel the need to ask that?
I know.
It's like, and then I tell them obviously that I'm gay and they're like,
you're like, you've come to the right place, baby.
Yeah, totally. But it's, I love having queer weddings, and it's feels like having lived a life long enough where there wasn't gay marriage. Now there is. It's wonderful to see it celebrated so publicly.
To host that, to be able to
absolutely.
Be a part of that and to bear witness to that sounds both really stressful, but also really special. I mean, there's a part of that experience that you go through that I relate to as a therapist, not in quite the same way, but like being a part of someone's journey, whatever it is. Like maybe it's them, finding love, or maybe it's them getting out of a really bad relationship, or maybe it's them finally quitting that job and going for what they're actually passionate for, but being a part of that and bearing witness to that. Especially when it's another queer client, there's just something a little extra, like pride I have, almost like, you did it. Yes. You know what I mean? And seeing that happen, I feel almost like a proud parent in some weird way.
For sure. I also like when there are couples that get married in their like 80s. We'd have a few very senior couples cool. hadn't been married before. And it was just like sweet to give them a beautiful little wedding. Yeah, it's great.
So I'm sure you've gotten asked questions before about like bridezillas and whatnot. So I don't necessarily want to dive into that because I think we know enough.
We don't. I will say this about bridezillas: I don't even allow it.
Oh, good for you.
It's just like you're not coming. You're not coming at me with that energy. Yeah. I'm not. I don't speak to them in a way that's like shut up.
Right.
But it's like Melissa.
Right.
Calm down. Calm down. We
do things a little differently here.
I understand your stress, but I promise you, I talk them off the ledge early because I don't want that pattern to continue with me because it's going to ruin her experience, ruin my experience.
Of course.
It's just that's not the direction we're going in.
Set those boundaries, Matt. Good for you. Good for you.
And I've learned early, like in the very, very beginning, actually, it was like, everything's a yes. We want to give them their dream wedding. Now it's like, there are certain things that are just a no.
Yeah.
Because it's just not feasible. So I'm God, my dog is Bear, relax.
He's so cute.
I don't like whining. So
he's teaching you patience around whining. Oh, he's such a cutie.
Yeah, but I've learned to say no earlier on in a way that doesn't feel unprofessional. It's just more clear communication.
Fantastic. Yeah, the more direct, the better. I mean, eventually everybody wins. I mean, maybe at first it's a little hard to hear the no, but it works out in the long run. There was this piece of wedding advice that you gave that I'm not to sound hyperbolic. It kind of blew my mind, Matt. I've never heard anyone say this before, but there was a piece of wedding advice that you gave on your Instagram, and you were like, this is the best piece of wedding advice I can give you, which was to have the ceremony last. Is that right? Did I understand that correctly?
That is it.
It blew my mind.
No, before dancing.
Okay. Have the ceremony. Okay, so walk me through what you think the best setup is. Because when I heard you explain it, I was like, oh my God, this makes so much sense.
Religious people don't like this. Religious people lost their mind because it's like the most important thing are the vows and all that stuff. And you shouldn't be drinking before that. So it's like,
got it.
I quickly realized it's unpopular in the religious world.
Okay.
But anyway.
So this isn't for everybody.
In my world.
Yeah. Also, to what I was saying earlier about microdosing rage bait, if you have strong feelings about this, take a minute, take a breath, and just be curious about this. Don't go on Matt's Instagram yelling at him about this.
That's fine.
Take a minute to just sit with it and let it pass. In any case, please explain your advice because I loved it.
Yeah. So First thing, no children at the wedding, but that's not part of the actual advice. But
Well, you're
never
gonna
bring
piss
kids
more
to a
people.
wedding. It's a waste of money. No one likes kids there. Don't do it. But anyway, guests arrive. They go straight to cocktail hour.
Okay. Yes. Right. Right. So
Right.
first, right. You get there and then it's the first thing is cocktail hour. Okay.
Yep. Everyone has some drinks. They get loosened up. They're lubricated. They're having a good time. And then they go have some dinner.
Yes.
And they have a nice meal and they just relax and they're having fun talking to everybody. And then they go to the ceremony once, like at sunset.
Right.
So like you time your dinner. So like right at sunset, everybody gets up. They can have dessert or not, whatever. You can do that later. But then everyone's in a good mood. They're full. They're not hungry. They're not waiting for a drink. Everybody's already in a good mental mind space.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Because a lot of times you show up, it's like, oh my God, I got to sit in that chair for 45 minutes before the bride walks down the aisle. You know, you're in the heat.
Yeah.
You want to drink. You're hungry.
And you can't really socialize. I mean, of course, maybe with the person right next to you, but you can't really mingle around that time. And you are kind of looking around being like, who's that? Who's that? Who's that? Who's that? Who's that? And it's just like a bunch of strangers.
Yeah. It's oftentimes not fun, the ceremony.
Right.
So this way it's fun. You know, it's fun at cocktail hour. It's fun at dinner. Everyone's a little drunk. They're already having fun. It also makes the ceremony a lot more of a party where everyone's like cheering and it's like, it just
fascinating.
Like lightens the mood. It's like, I think it's so great. And then you just start dancing. Then you go right to dancing.
That sounds phenomenal. I loved that idea. I'd never heard that before in my entire life. And I was like, wait a minute. And then I heard you break it down and I was like, this man's a genius. I can't believe no one's now. Have you seen this before? Is this something you've seen?
Only once because of a rain. This couple was like hell bent on getting married outside.
Okay.
And it looked like the rain was going to like lighten up and it did. So we just shifted it later. And I was like, this is the best wedding. I don't know why every wedding doesn't do this.
Wow. So you saw this actually play out and work out incredibly well.
Yes. And actually Garrett and Andrew's wedding on the TV show was also similar to that. I think it was after cocktail hour, I think.
Okay.
But before dinner.
Gotcha.
But it was still out of order enough that it was fun. But anyway, after dinner, I think is the best.
That is so cool. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I favorited that post and I was like, I'm going to keep this in mind if I ever get married.
It was weirdly polarizing.
I can only imagine. Well, again, because marriage and the ceremony around it's just such a symbolic ritual that's so ingrained in cultures like all over the world. It doesn't surprise me that people have incredibly strong thoughts and feelings and opinions around it. It's just like so a part of culture in general.
Yeah, totally.
You know what I mean? And it's like a part of every rom-com. I mean,
it's like, don't fuck with the procedure. We've been doing it perfectly fine forever.
It's very, I mean, you're fucking with something that's so ingrained in pop culture. Like you said, there's a formula. It's like, hey, don't fuck with the formula. Don't you dare. But I love the idea of like shaking it up a little bit, especially given your thought process behind it. Like, again, everyone is a little bit, looser, in a better mood. No one is hungry. I mean, and just like better set up to have a good time during the ceremony, which is famously can be a little bit of a snooze fest. No offense, I'm sure.
Totally, it is.
Whoever's listening, I'm sure your ceremony was the funnest ceremony ever. I'm just saying in general, it can be a little bit of a snooze fest. But that is fascinating. When you are working with couples, well, in your work with like couples and planning and especially like the logistics and the feel of the wedding, what are some of the green flags that you've noticed between couples where you're like, this is so lovely to see, or wow, this is a couple that like really works well together, or this seems like a really strong relationship? What are some of the green flags you see?
I often say to a couple when I see a lot of green flags that I love them as a couple.
Oh,
because
that's so
I
lovely.
want people to know, because a lot of times that everyone can be so stressed out. And the couples that show up that I think similar to what I sort of noted earlier, the couples that are there for the romance and just the celebration of marrying the love of their life are my favorite green flag couples, because all they care about is just sort of like what the plan is and not controlling the day or whatever. They just are more curious about anything than demanding things.
Gotcha.
And they're just more, they talk to each other about it and they ask if they like that idea to each other. You know, a lot of times it's, especially with a straight couple, the groom rarely says anything. A lot of times, I'd say 90% of the time, it's the bride and the bride's mom asking every single question.
Not surprised.
You know, she's been planning it since age 9.
Right.
You know, so like it's in her head, you know, they want it to go a specific way. But the couples that really have a conversation about it on the day of our first wedding viewing are my favorite couples that I feel like are going to last.
Yeah, the ones, like you said, the ones that are talking to each other.
Yeah, they're doing it together.
They're doing it together the whole time. It's a collaboration. Ideally, it's a collaboration. Yep. And do you find that those couples, like you said, they demand a little bit less? So is it more like, we trust you, Matt. We trust your aesthetic. We trust your logistical planning. So we're going to demand less and kind of like let you do your job. Is that
exactly
sort of the
that's definitely it. There really aren't, I mean, our side of it, the venue side of it, is really kind of a template. There's not too many variables that we offer, other than like where your dinner is going to be or where the ceremony is going to be. A lot of the choices come in the styling with the florist and the styling with the caterer. So that
makes sense.
You know, we're not the florist and we're not and also the photographs. Like a lot of times they're so specific about when they want to get photographed and where they want to be photographed. And like, we'll help with that. Yeah. But it's the photographer and the bride and the groom come up with that sort of layout. So we just sort of do our thing and then we facilitate their choices with the other vendors as best we can.
Gotcha. What has been, if anything, what's been surprising about the show, filming the show? Has there been anything that was unexpected, or has it felt very like, yep, I sort of figured it would be like this, or I figured this would be the outcome or the response, or was there anything that kind of like, whoa, blew your mind?
I would say that obviously never having filmed to that extent, how quickly you forget the cameras are on you happens quickly. It happens quickly. At least it did for me.
Yeah.
I remember sort of feeling like it was just going to be this torturous thing for 3 months where I was just going to be like on edge with these cameras around me. Eventually you can't keep up the facade of it all. Your brain just can't keep it up. And I remember when I first knew the date that they were filming, I ran out and got all new this and that, new jeans and blah, blah, new baseball hats and new Timberlands and whatever. If you look at what I'm wearing, like by episode 6, I have fully given up. I like was barely sleeping. All my clothes were disgusting. There were like stains everywhere. I was like, I don't even care at this point.
Right.
Like, it's just,
I can't keep up.
You can't. I mean, I don't know how like those other reality shows do it with their glam and whatever. I think that's just a different type of like lifestyle. Right. But for me, it's like, I mean, no one's going to see what I'm wearing, but I'm very casual. I mean, I wear like some sort of baseball hat and jeans and t-shirt every day of my life. Unless there's a wedding or a funeral, that's what I go out to eat in. That's what I wear. That's what I wear on my podcast. Like, it's just, that's what I want to wear.
Right.
So I don't really care if people want to judge me based on my like clothing or whatever.
Sure.
It's what I feel most comfortable in.
I feel like the folks that wouldn't judge you are going to be attracted to the show in the first place. Like, they're going to be attracted to the vibe. And not, if they're looking for glam, capital G glam, folks that are looking for that, I feel like they have their shows for that. And the folks that are looking for something that I think feels a little bit more earnest and wholesome and like whimsical are going to be much more drawn to your show. I mean,
I think it's a relatable like farm wedding show.
Yeah. This is such a random question. You don't have to answer.
Have my DMs blown up?
Wait, how did you know? I literally
I could just tell by how excited you got when you sat up straight here in your chair.
Whoa, you read my mind. I literally have that written down here. Yeah. Are your DMs blowing up?
I would say that's
I would imagine.
It's probably the best part about it, to be honest, is like all the attention that you get, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's always like, oh, you're hot. We should hang out. I live in Seattle.
Right.
It's like, okay, I don't even like flying. So I don't know how that would ever work.
I appreciate the sentiment. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I mean, I think what I find most flattering is that like, there's no, a lot of the pictures that I'll find myself putting up on Instagram or whatever
Sure.
are obviously ones that I think look the best of me,
Sure.
or with the best filter, the best edit.
Of
So
course.
like that's, but the TV show feels like more real me. So if someone sees me on that show and seems to like me or is attracted to me based on the show, it's a lot more of makes me more happy than before.
That makes a lot of sense.
Because at least they've seen the real side of me, I guess.
Yeah. So, Matt, there's this one question that I ask every guest, and it goes a little something like this. What is one piece of advice or guidance that you've gotten from the mental health / therapy world that you take with you everywhere you go, or is sort of at the core of how you navigate your own life? So this could be something you read in a book or heard in a podcast, or something, a therapist friend said.
Does it have to be emotional, or can it just be something I like live my life why? It's not really very therapy, but it
does not have to be emotional. No,
I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it, and then
Go for it.
I'll add something to it that makes more therapy.
Love.
I believe it was this woman named Oprah.
I'm familiar.
She said once on her talk show that if you walk past a penny on the ground, you're saying to the universe that you don't want money. And I remember thinking, that's so fucking, I've always picked up money. Even now I do. Like, if I see a penny and nickel, I'm always the one on my hands and knees, like going under the car to grab that coin. But it feels
fascinating.
Like the bigger message to me is that, like, it's about the bigger picture. Like, don't pass that little penny, because you want more money. And I feel like that can also apply to like little acts of kindness. Like, it's the little things that we should be focusing on, and not these big, huge, overreaching, acts that don't matter as much as the culmination of all the little things.
That is so well put. How do you apply this to your own life in the day-to-day? How does this look on you?
I'm literally on my hands and knees picking up pennies all day long.
Oh, that wasn't.
My pocket is.
That
my
wasn't hyperbole.
No, I'm literally broke picking up pennies.
I love the idea of thinking of it in terms of little acts that add up throughout the day. I think that's so meaningful and important. I'm often telling people and couples this when I talk about trust, that trust is developed over time through these little moments, like, that little moment when you make the bed because they like it when you make the bed, or this little moment when you call them or text them and ask them, hey, how did that interview go? It's like those little moments that actually build a really solid foundation of trust versus these grand gestures that don't happen every day, because they can't happen every day, because that by nature of a grand thing, it can't happen every day. So it's all about the little things and the little moments. I love that. I appreciate that so much. So, Matt, let me start that again.
Is this over?
We're almost over.
Oh,
can
my
you believe
God,
it?
that went fast.
Oh, yay. That makes me so
you're very easy to talk to, Omar.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Where can people find you? Because folks are they're going to want to see the farm. They're going to want to see the whimsy that I'm talking about. So where can folks find you?
Well, they can, if they want to get the best sort of visual, they could go to either our Instagram page, which is @JuneFarms. I'm @JuneFarmsMatt. Or watch the show on Prime Video. It's called June Farms, and you can see a lot of the farm there and a lot of the weddings that we do in the cabins and stuff. Otherwise, we're in upstate New York in Hudson Valley. Come visit us, JuneFarms.com. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Folks, you know this already, but it's worth saying again that I am a therapist, but this is no substitute for good old-fashioned therapy. So take what's useful, leave the rest, and don't forget, therapy makes you hotter. Bye.